Okay, let's get straight into it. I want to talk about this Kevin Durant to the Rocket trade. First of all, I did not like the trade. I did not like the trade at first. Did not like the trade at first. What I wanted to happen was KD go to the Spurs. KD next to Wemby? KD next to Wemby? Filthy. KD next to Wemby would have been so filthy. 2 7-footers sitting right there in the post, right next to each other. Generational talent. KD guiding Wemby. Wemby being the next player to take over for the Spurs. So much length, so much versatility. It would have been amazing. That's why I said I did not like the trade at first. At first. But I'm going to tell you this. KD to the Houston Rockets. Second best option. Because this is why I like the trade. KD finally deviated from trying to recreate what he had going on in Golden State. I am so glad he deviated from this 3-guard lineup that he fell so much in love with in Golden State, because it doesn't work. It don't work, man. It just don't work. I'm trying to tell you. He tried this after leaving Golden State when he went to Brooklyn with Kyrie. It was him, Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen. They gutted that whole roster to bring in James Harden. And I was like, okay, 3 superstars, it should work in theory. But what I started noticing is later down in the playoff, that size thing matters. Size matters. Yes, y'all can score. Yes, y'all can do y'all thing. Yes, y'all ISO team. But when it comes down to defense and nitty grittiness, y'all have to have some defensive presence down there. I just have to have defensive presence down there. And that hurt them for real. So you see when your main scorers, Kyrie Irving, goes down in the playoffs, they was up 2-0 against Milwaukee. They was up 2-0 versus Milwaukee, I'm telling you. And then as soon as Kyrie goes down, you lose your scoring. And it's you and a hobbled hamstring James Harden trying to put it together. And KD almost wins the series for him by himself. By himself. But you need more. You need more. So anywho, transferring on to the next topic, he goes to Phoenix. He gets out of there. He's tired of, Kyrie and the COVID shit with Brooklyn. So he goes to Phoenix. All right, cool. They gut the roster again. They get rid of Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, 2 defensive anchors. 2 defensive anchors for that team that got them to the championship. Keep that in mind. And bring KD in. They bring KD in. All right, that's fine. They go to the first round. Who did they play in that first round? When it was him, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and I think Terrence Ross. It was a very funny roster. And DeAndre Ayton. They get past the Clippers. I think they beat the Clippers in 6 or 7. Let me know if I'm tripping. They beat the Clippers in 6 or 7. Then in that next round, they face Denver. Lose to Denver in 6. I think KD and Devin Booker won them 2 games. Just by pure will. Won them 2 games, so they didn't get swept. All right, that was cool. That was fine. That was dandy. Next year, Matt Ishbia comes in. They get rid of Chris Paul. They get rid of everything else they had and add in Bradley Beal. This time I'm like, okay. I've seen this before and it didn't work. And Bradley Beal is not as good as James Harden. He's just not. He's just not as good as James Harden. So I'm like, I don't see this being a thing. First year, they're not doing a little bit of anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looked good at times, but I'm just paying attention to the dynamics of the game, and it's like, y'all missing defense. Y'all have no legit big man down there in the post. You have no legit big man down there in the post. So, who's defending this shit? You feel me? Who's defending? So, with that being said, they get blown out in the first round of the playoffs by Minnesota. And young Ant Edwards, blown the fuck out. Next year, they try it again. It's like, okay, maybe we might do it again. They add in, who did they add in? They had Grayson Allen in the first year. Who they add in for that second year? Bobo. They drafted Ryan Dunn. Also Iguodala. This year was the year where everything started falling apart. I could just tell. It was just falling apart. The first 10 games, when KD was playing, he willed them to them games. If you paid attention, he willed them to those wins, bro. Overtime, down to the wire, he was willing them to those wins. So when y'all say KD is not a leader, remember those first 10 games when they was like 7-1 or 9-1, something like that. It was KD willing them to them games, not Devin Booker, not Bradley Beal, not nobody else. KD. And I think after that 10-game span, KD suffered some sort of nagging injury. He was gone for another 10 games in the beginning of the season, I suppose. Yeah. After that, they lost like 8 in a row. So if KD don't get hurt, he wills them throughout the whole series, throughout the whole season by himself. I seen him yelling at players. I seen him ready to smack motherfuckers up. So when y'all say KD's not a leader, y'all remember that. But anywho, they don't make the playoffs. Not even the play-in. KD gets traded to the Houston Rockets. I was praying for San Antonio. But the Houston Rockets trade is decent because you got KD with a proven veteran in Fred VanVleet. He actually took one from KD when he suffered that Achilles injury in the 2019 playoffs. I believe it's the 2019 playoffs. He took one from him. And Fred VanVleet was one of the guiding forces of that whole playoff run next to Pascal Siakam, Danny Green. Danny Green was on that championship team, I believe, yeah. Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard. It was, yeah, Fred VanVleet. He's proven. And him next to KD with them young boys, Alpern Sengun, Amen Thompson, wonderful two-way player. You get him a shot, make him a proven scorer, he's gonna take that team to the next level. I'm telling you. And then that KD pick and roll, give and go with Alpern Sengun, watch. KD actually has a big man now, and he has somebody to truly mentor in Jabari Smith Jr. You finna see something different, bro. No more funky ass lineups where it's 3 guards on the court and KD playing center. You don't have to see that no more. You got Steven Adams who can get right next to KD, and they already have chemistry in OKC. You can get Steven Adams who got that chemistry with KD right there at center, who's gonna do work right there, bro. You have a proven lineup, and then if all else fails down at the trade deadline, you can always trade these assets to get somebody like Giannis. And you put Giannis and KD right next to each other, and you think they're not gonna win a ring? Y'all let me know, for real. But the way it's looking, I would say Houston's definitely gonna be top 5. Top 5 in the West, for sure. Top 5 in the West. For real, top 5 in the West. And the insurance policy is, boom, and all else fails, you go ahead and bring Giannis in there, right there at the deadline. You got your system, and him right next to KD with Steven Adams. Bro, they're winning, bro. They're winning. Because the defense is going to win a championship this year. The defense is going to win a championship this year. I'm telling you, they don't get it done this year. Next year, you got a nice little roster. I would put them against OKC. I think they're bigger than OKC and more grittier than OKC, and they have youth. I'd put them against them. And I'd say, player for player, I'd say KD got SGA. He just needs the team to prove he still got something in the tank. I think KD gets SGA. You put him against the Warriors, I feel like Fred VanVleet can guard Steph Curry very, very efficiently. And Jimmy Butler, I don't know. I would like to see him and Amen Thompson do work together. See who's the better of the two of that one. You know what I'm saying? And then KD, who would you match KD with? Who would you match KD with? I guess it would be a KD versus Steph thing, scoring-wise. KD versus Steph scoring-wise. Yeah, I put them over the Golden State Warriors if they don't make no moves. If they get a big man, then, we'll see. But without that big man, I say Houston got the slight edge over Golden State right now. Who else is in the West? Dallas. That'll be the battle of the Texans. When Kyrie come back, that'll be the battle of the Texans. Houston versus Dallas. I like that. And San Antonio, they still building. I like San Antonio. I say they make it to the playoffs next year, for sure. And who else is in that conference? Minnesota, they up and down. Denver, they still trying to figure out their roster. I just, Houston's a good look. We might be looking at the next dynasty with KD. Well, stay tuned. I'm going to do another video on the rest of the trades going around the NBA. And I got other stuff for you. And check out my book down there in the bio. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.